Hi guys, igama asanda kantini. Welcome back to my channel. So I hope you are all doing well. If you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and let's get into it. So this week we're talking about toxic relationships, toxic traits more than just toxic relationships. What does it mean being toxic, and what does it mean for you staying in that relationship? What do you do? Do you just pick up and leave, or do you stay just because you like that person or you like that particular situation? It makes sense. Many of us assume that a relationship is toxic when you can point out to the physical thing, you can point out to the regular things. But I'm going to point out to you the signs that you actually are in a toxic situation or relationship. Here's number one, the moment that you start avoiding saying what you want to say. So say for example, you're in a relationship with a lovely person, like sweet, everything. But now you start avoiding saying what you actually want to say. Say a person says, I want to go to the beach, but you actually don't want to go to the beach, you want to go to the movies or somewhere else. But because you want to stay in that relationship and you want to keep the harmony in that relationship, you avoid saying, no, actually, I don't want to do that today. That's toxic because it takes away from you what you are. It takes away from what you really want. So now you're gonna have to sort of cage the way that you feel and cage the way that you think. That's number one. Number two, you start not being yourself after having caved yourself into, after having avoided the way you feel, after having avoided saying the things that you feel. You now start avoiding being who you are. So people in toxic relationship suddenly change the way that they speak, the way that they act, the way that they react to stuff. Not in a good thing. Some people have a good influence, like a person influencing you to work a bit harder, influencing you to follow your dreams. That's fine. But when you start avoiding certain people, start avoiding friends, start avoiding this and that. I'll give you a background story. In matric, I was with my best friend who I have a video here, Nosy. I loved her. I loved her even before matric. We were in the same, not same primary school, but our primary schools were in the same town. So that's when I got to know her and like got to experience her. And then I got to high school after having been away for 2 years, got to high school, got back, then started being with this certain person who started choosing my friends and started choosing how I should actually act and be. And I was like, I lost out on having a great friend in high school just because my partner was not comfortable with having my friend around. She thought she was too loud, thought it was too loud and all of that, of which she is. She's very loud and I love it. I love being around her. She brings my spirit out. But because of the relationship I was in, I couldn't even embrace that about her. So that's toxic. You start changing your patterns, you start changing the things that you like. Right now, I don't spend a day without speaking to my friend because it's who she brings out the best in me, I bring out the best in her, and we've been best friends since then, since after leaving that situation. And if I didn't leave it, I'd probably be still with the boring friends that he'd pick, the boring friends that made sense to him, and I'll be boring too. I am boring, but like I'll be more boring. Here is what I realized. I stayed in that situation for about 3 years. And I stayed because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I wanted, to an extent that I actually even chose a different career. I had to go through first year doing a degree that I actually didn't like because I didn't apply for what I wanted because somebody convinced me that actually this is not you. But I had such a conviction and a coming to serve what I was talking about last week, that when you are honest with yourself, when you are really honest, I love the law, I love justice, I love speaking for people, I like speaking and writing on behalf of people. I like that. That's who I am. And I kept shying away from that simply because it did not align with the brand of a certain person. Now, here's the thing that you need to realize. A person can be toxic for you and could be a great person for somebody else. Now, don't go around and saying this person is a horrible person, yada, yada, yada. They were a horrible person for you because you were not the one that they were supposed to be with. Your brands, not just your brands, but your personalities, your purposes just did not align. And you need to accept that. That's number one. That's how you get out of toxic situations. The second thing, you have to actually work on yourself. What do I mean? You need to be really honest. I'm currently in a self-realization, in a self-rediscovery journey where I realize the things that I want to get rid of in my own life, in the toxic things and traits, because I look back and the relationships that I've broken, in the not just relationships, romantic relationships, but friendships. I look at relationships with family. I look at all of those things and they all come back, not just to me, but I also have to face the things that I've done and the things that I actually did to make the situations toxic, or to how I responded to the toxic energy that I was receiving. If a family member is toxic to you and it affects the way that you think of yourself, because some people would in turn end up having issues with confidence, would in turn have issues with whatever it is that in life would not happen if the certain particular family member or person that they value at that particular time in their lives didn't say or do certain things, was not there, they would be better off. So what do? You just say bye, may the Lord keep between you and thee, and you move on. Because it's not that you hate that person. You see, I'll take it to the Bible. Ruth and Naomi, and is it Rahab? The other one, when they were leaving Moab, the place of no change. This other one says, no, peace, I can't do this, I'm going back home. Ruth says, and Naomi and that other sister-in-law, Naomi and the other daughter-in-law, they hug and kiss and go separate ways. She continues with her life. Doesn't stop because you've let people who are toxic or who do not want change, because that was the issue there. They didn't want change, because this is what happens with people that are toxic. They want you to stay in the box that you were. When you are in a relationship, you need to have somebody who accepts that you are growing every day. I think one thing that you need to appreciate in life is finding somebody and people that accept that actually this person has grown. With friends, if your friend doesn't accept that actually this person has got a job, she's moved on from this town, but she's still my friend, I can call and text whenever, but I cannot see her as often because she's busy, or I cannot see her as often because I have a baby, I have a family, I have whatever. You need to have people around that, and if you cannot have them, you kiss them goodbye and you will get to a place that you want to go. If you don't, you're going to have yourself a very miserable long life. People stay in toxic relationship because the person is good besides that toxic trait, but the toxic trait of them takes so much away from you that you start hating yourself, you start doubting yourself. But because the person has been good before, you don't want to disappoint them, you don't want to leave, you don't want to disappoint any other situation. When you leave gracefully. You don't disrespect them, you do not do whatever it is. Obviously, unless you guys have a fallout, at some point you're going to have to apologize to each other and forgive each other, whatever the case might be. But if you don't, you need to leave that place and share the reason why you are leaving. Tell them that, okay, I'm leaving because of this and that. And if you want, do the it's you, it's not me, it's you. Whatever it is that you need to do, but you need to leave. And you need to leave with yourself as yourself. When you are leaving that situation, they must remember you as being somebody who was kind, somebody who did not disrespect them. And when you've left, do not go around and speaking about that person and saying, well, this and this person is this. You don't do that. When you leave, you like, okay, we did this. I'm happy that I left. I'm not going back. He was a great person, she was a great person, but we no longer are together. And that's what you do. Even with family, if they ask you why are you not coming to gatherings, you don't pretend that nothing happened. I think that's the mistake that I made in the beginning. I pretended like everything is fine. No, you tell them, actually I left because so and so did this and I cannot stay in that situation. So to avoid anybody getting hurt, to avoid myself getting hurt anymore, I've decided to leave. I've decided not to combine myself with things that do not matter. And you have a great life after that. Why you have a horrible life is because you stayed in a situation which you were supposed to leave. This is what happens. Most people get into situations, stay in relationships with people that were meant to be there for a season. You need to appreciate this. Even with families, some families you need to be close to for a certain season. They are there to lift you or get you from here to here. Once you get here, you need to start moving. You need to start getting to other places. Look at your at the people around you and look at how your life was not blessed and your life was at a standstill just because you were with a certain group of people or a certain type of people or a certain person. Or maybe you actually married a really bad person and your life just stood still for a very long time. This is the thing about blessings and God. He'll never bless you unless you are you. What do I mean? Unless you are going to be at your purpose, unless you are going to be truthful about who you are, unless you're going to be truthful about what you like, God is not going to bless that. Until you get to a point of, this is me, this is what I want. Like, I want to be married, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be in this particular career, I want to be part of this family. Not because I have to, not because I have to. The moment that you stop having the I have to, you're not going to be miserable. Somebody said they left their jobs and then they found purpose. People that hate their jobs, it's usually people that are there because they have to. Like, nobody likes doing articles or internships. Some people do, but because they have to, the duration of the 2 years is usually miserable. Look at life that way. If you actually in a relationship where you want to be there, that you long to be there every time, you're like, here I am, I come back to myself. You come back to yourself in every situation that you are in life, you're going to have a very lively life. You're going to have a very blessed life. God is going to bless so many other areas of your life because you are not in a situation where He doesn't want you to be. He'll sustain you, you'll be alive, you'll come back to that life every day. But He will not bless you with happiness. You will not be happy, you will not be at peace, because that's not where you're supposed to be.